So, good evening, everyone. Welcome back. We are on our third knowledge series. And when we started, we were thinking um, how should we share the different career options, career opportunities. The dynamics is changing. It's now more of pre and post COVID that's going to happen. So we thought this is one of the good ways to interact with all of you, share the knowledge, and also listen to you what you really want. What is it that you're looking at the various career options? So uh, I am the co-founder of Farmata Career Guidance and Training, and we are a team of career counselors, psychologists, educators, industry experts, and happy parents. Uh, we have been working with uh, 13 to 30 years old and uh, guiding them on guiding them in their career decisions. And when this age group has to decide about a career, it starts with choosing a stream, beginning a career, and maybe changing the career path. And how we do it is we try to first of all understand the person, who the person, what is the person, what are the interests, uh, what does the person inner talent are, and we take the person through the whole process of building a career. And there are different stages to it, and to achieve different milestones we have a given process. In our journey, in our career guidance and planning vertical, we have been able to work with 2000 students in a workshop mode. We have completed 600 hours of career planning, 200 hours of Skype chat, and our major presence is in Bangalore, where we have 5 career counseling centers. And yes, we are online, so our students and parents and working professionals connect with us from Pan India. A little bit about me. I'm Harmeet, co-founder and CEO of Farmata Consulting. In my entrepreneurial journey of 12 years entrepreneurial journey, I have been wearing various hats: hat of a business consultant, trainer, career coach, career counselor, and yes, managing the operations. So prior to that, I was a lecturer in a college. So I'm an educator by heart and an entrepreneur by profession. So that's how I love to interact with students, understand what they are thinking, and how me and my team can help them build their career. So welcome everyone. Thank you so much for taking out your time for this knowledge series. We are happy to bring in different experts every month. And today I'm happy to invite Ankit Bhatia, our speaker of the day. Ankit is going to talk about career in public policy domain. An alumni of IIT Kharagpur, he went on from economics, he went on to move and build his career in the public policy. And he has spent 8 years in this domain. He's a PhD candidate for the School of Advanced International Studies, Johns Hopkins University. He's the founder of Mulya Foundation. Recently, he has founded this foundation, and would please connect with him on LinkedIn. And you would know what's the amazing work this foundation is planning to do. He has been a consultant at the Carnegie India. He has been an ex-policy researcher at the Center for Policy Research, Brookings India, and National Institute of Public Finance and Policy. The topic is very broad, and that's why it is misunderstood. Is it politics or is it public policy? That was one of the questions, Ankit, our team received from one of the attendees, right? So I think you have to cover that domain, how that why politics come in the mind when we are talking of public policy. And please help the parents and the young professionals and young students to understand this area well. Over to you, Ankit. I will stop sharing my screen and you can take charge. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamid, and thank you, Pharmata Council, to invite me and give me this platform to come and speak to you all. So, in today's session, as I do in all my sessions, I like to keep it more conversational. So, what I will do, I will very briefly put out my thoughts. I will very briefly explain, what this entire sector is all about, and explain whether it is just politics or politics is part of it, whether it is public administration or it is beyond that. So these are the some basic questions that we always encounter when we are trying to explain what is the field of public policy. So I will explain that. But before getting into it, and I would just like to very briefly speak about my own personal journey. And that I think will be very helpful for prospective students and as well as parents to think about, how careers are actually, we can plan a lot, but after a point, it's just destiny. You land up as some things. So as Harmeet already pointed out, my career like that has been last 8 years, but that is not how I started. That was not the plan when I started. When I went to IIT or when I was studying economics, I did not know that public policy as a field exists. But I knew I had some inklings about what I wanted to do. I was never interested to get into a corporate sector, so that was something very clear to me. But what happened, like in the year 2013, a year before I graduated, I got a chance to work with Planning Commission, which is called Niti Aayog in today's time. And I got to observe and see, how the world of policy making actually operates. And it was that exposure of 2 months working with the Planning Commission that I learned the art and the science of policy making. And when I say art and science, actually they are two very different components. As a professional, as a student, as people we are working, we are always looking for evidence. We are always looking for logics and rationalities to, make a decision which should be beneficial to the larger public out there. Now that is the science component of public policy. But there is an interesting component of art. Now that art is basically, in nutshell, is about negotiation among different stakeholders. Because in public policy, what happens, it's very hard to reach to a solution or a discussion where you are able to satisfy all the stakeholders. Because demands are always larger than what you can provide. Take any case, any situation around you, there will be a stakeholder which is going to be unsatisfied. And that is an inherent characteristic of public policy. You cannot make everyone happy. But what can you do? You can try to spread happiness in such a way that you reach to a solution. Now, this was very interesting for me, when I was working at Planning Commission, and I thought this is something I want to do in my life future. So that is where I built on my career in public policy. I started working with National Institute of Public Finance and Policy. Moved on to different areas. I was exploring one theme to another, and got a good amount of chance to work in different domains, from international finance to land and property rights to urban governance, then regulation of land markets, and now I'm moving on to do my PhD in international development. So that has been a trajectory and that has been a journey. At every step, I learned something. Before I delve into specifics of how young people can get started into it, because I understand we have very diverse audience over here. Some may be more equipped with the idea of public policy, some may not be. So let me explain what my understanding of public policy has been, what I have understood the sector to be. So it's actually pretty simple. If you try to break, public policy is made up of two terms, public and policy. And if we understand them, we are able to understand what is this entire field is all about. So public in this understanding is very simple. It's about all of us, the people. A lot of us are already a part of this webinar, but larger society. But public is not a singular unit. We are a heterogeneous body, which means we are different kind of people, and all that forms the word public. For example, we are different based on our gender. We are different based on our age groups. We are different based on our cultural and religious identities. We are based on our geographical locations. We are also different, and based on our, our aspirations about future, what we want to do, and we are starting from very different starting points in our socio-economic lives. So that is what makes this one word public so interesting. And as a public policy professional or people who are practicing public policy, they need to understand this meaning of public, that public is heterogeneous with differences within them. Now, we don't live in isolation, we interact. We interact with our fellow beings, we create plans for our future, and we are trying to, secure a lot of things in our life to lead a good, beautiful, amazing life. And in that process, what we need out of that interaction, we need some kind of a stability. I need to know when I'm coming on this webinar, there has to be a stability in my conversation. I need to know what is an expected behavior that I'm going to get it. And this happens in every sphere of our life. So that's why we require some kind of rules and regulations in our society. That is, we live in a society which is a rule-based society, and which can loosely be understood to be policy. Now, policy also has to be flexible in nature. That is, as and when the need comes, we can change those rules so that society can benefit at large. Now, if we sew this together, so basically public policy is all about whenever we are interacting, whenever we are having social interaction, whenever we are having interaction with other people in any domain of our life. And if that is going to be affected by some kind of rules or regulation that falls within the scope of public policy. Now, if we take this definition, it becomes very difficult to pinpoint examples which are not part of public policy. So what I'm trying to explain is that public policy is not something new. Public policy is something that we all are part of it. Today, in whichever sphere of life, whatever we are doing, we are guided by some or the other kind of rules and regulations. We are receiver of the rules, so maybe we don't think about them. But then there is a body of people, there is a body of professionals who design those rules, who work on them, who change them, and that is a full-time job of these people. And they can't be called to be public policy professionals. Now, as per this definition, and as like Hamid said, so political class is one of the component of public policy. That is a process in place to have, negotiation and discussion and consultations in the society. I will speak more about it at the later stage, but that is the domain of public policy we need to understand. Now, having said that and putting out, why public policy is important, I just want to very briefly say why it is very fascinating field for me before getting into specifics, what actually, how young people can get started in this field. So there are 2 or 3 very interesting elements of public policy. First, I find it to be very challenging. You're always on this edge. You're always thinking, how are you going to solve this particular problem? How are you, we are always in this mode of problem solving. First of all, you try to figure out what the problem is, and then you come, sit down, brainstorm with different stakeholders, and figure out what are the possible solutions out there. Now, out of the spectrum of the solutions, you sit, negotiate, discuss, consult, do all these processes and come to a solution which you may want to implement. So it is always you're in the mode of problem solving. You always have to think about multiple stakeholders. Then, and the good part is that it is always interdisciplinary. That is, no discipline, no single discipline through which you can solve a public policy problem. For example, I studied economics, but I had to eventually delve into and broaden my understanding of fields such as law, political science, sociology, anthropology, because that is how the reality is formed. It is a mix of factors, and one discipline will always teach you some components to understand your reality. So it is interdisciplinary. And the best part, which I love about public policy, it is impactful. That is, when you are doing some work, when you are trying to put out a report, when you are doing some consultation, the impact of that consultation, if it is done in a proper way, is going to affect the life of millions of people at the same time. For example, in the recent couple of years, we have seen many policy changes that the government has taken. And I don't have to say, and you all know, that the impact of those policy changes were that it affected the life of billions of people at the same time. But there were some public policy professionals who were actually creating those policies. I'm not getting into whether they were good policies or bad policies. We may have different views on them for various reasons. But idea that I want to put on is that when you are a public policy professional, you can create a very large impact in the society through your work. So with these 3 or 4 points, that is what fascinates me. And why I think in today's time, young professionals are extremely required because the sector is changing. And why it is changing? Initially, public policy was thought to be, the ball game of senior people, people who had so much of experience with public life, whether they were bureaucrats, whether they were politicians, they were retired judges, or other public professionals. But in recent time, our society is changing so quickly, and role of technology and role of digital media has changed it, has altered it in so many different ways and so quickly that we require young people to be part of this ecosystem because they are the consumers of all this change and they understand these changes much better than the experienced class, who are 60 or 50 plus. They did not see those kind of changes. So public policy as a field is opening up to youngsters. We are required more and more, young people should come in. So, and that is the idea of why I started Mulya Foundation, that I could go and speak to young people and tell them about this field when they're thinking about their careers in their life. I'll speak more about the Mulya Foundation towards the end. But that was the core idea, to bridge this gap, to bridge this information gap where young people, especially parents who are thinking about it, should be able to understand what this entire field is. It is not just politics. It is beyond IAS. It is beyond civil services. This is a field which is working on its own. Right? So, and I will take just 5 minutes more to speak about the various avenues which I think in which people from different disciplinary backgrounds can be part of it. So if I broadly see for people who are very young, who are looking for initial stage exposure, they can always think about having some internships. The people who are looking for full-time employments can start their career. There is no people, we generally don't require people with specific exposure to public policy, but they should know about their industry, what they are working on. Even there is a lot of opportunities for people, for mid professionals who are looking for a career change. That is also open. So in terms of industries, if you're interested to build a career such as I did, having more of a research and academia oriented career, you can think about working with think tanks. There are government sponsored think tanks, semi-government sponsored think tanks, and you can have a career of researchers, associated researchers. Those are the profiles. So in this profile, basically you work on a social problem in a longer horizon. You work on a problem for 2 to 3 years and try to solve it in a structured way. That is, you can root out the problem. If you're not interested in an academic path and you are looking for a more short-term assignments, then you can be part of the ecosystem in the form of a policy consultant or a policy analyst. Now, they work with very closely with the different arms of government, whether it is a political arm, it is bureaucracy, it is opposition, it is media. They work with all of them in a way to create some policy solutions very quickly. That is, they will work on a project for 3 to 6 months time and come up with a policy solution in the form of a report, opinion piece, or a comment. Let's suppose you are interested in understanding what happens in the implementation stage of the policy. Then you may want to take up some positions with civil society organizations, with non-governmental organizations. There are some very interesting NGOs and civil society organizations which are doing amazing work, for the development of the society. So you may want to work with them. This kind of role will give you exposure to what is happening on the ground. You will have understanding, bottoms up understanding. What is happening on the ground and how can I solve it from the top? So it will have a different kind of a perspective. Let's suppose you are more interested, as some people asked, how it is different from politics. It is different because you don't become a politician. That's a different job altogether. But you can be a public policy professional with a political entity. That is, you can join, but almost all the national or regional parties have their public policy cells. They are always and in most they are continuously debating on what are going to be the recent reforms, what are the changes we need to bring in the economy and the society. And they are very much welcome and they are always looking for young people to be part of this ecosystem. You can be part of the bureaucracy. bureaucracy always implements the policy of the government of the day. You can understand the implementation part of it from the implementer's point of view. You can be part of the bureaucracy. Let's suppose you want to get some more of an international exposure to it. You can think about working with international foundations. There are so many philanthropic groups coming in. We have agencies, development agencies such as World Bank, various arms of United Nations, then Bill and Melinda Gates, Rockefeller Foundation. There are so many. We can discuss about specifics if that is of interest. I am just trying to lay out the general structure of how it is organized. If none of this interests you, in a recent time, even the private sector, the private corporations have opened up their government relations team, their public policy team. So essentially, there is a dedicated team which is trying to figure out what is the regulation of the day and at the same time trying to influence the regulation of the future. For example, Facebook's, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Amazon, name any big company in the tech space, they are having a public policy cell in today's time, very active cell, and young people are more than welcome over there. If not this, then you can always think about entrepreneurship in public policy. For example, I was a researcher, but now I've started with Mulya Foundation. I've taken a non-profit route of entrepreneurship, but you can take a for-profit route of entrepreneurship also. For example, the government is always looking for people who can go and test what is the efficacy or the implementation of the various policy measures. And they are looking for consultants who can work in this direction. And there are so many development consultancies which have come in to support government affairs in implementing those policies, and as well as researching and submitting their reports and engaging in this ecosystem. So that is another thing. If none of this interests you and you just feel that public policy is something you like, there is a particular area that interests you, you can always be a freelancer. That is, you are always always on top of this area, and you present your own views, you write your own opinions, and that is also a way in which you can be part of this ecosystem. So these were some broader areas that I could think of in terms of engagement with the public policy. And I will stop here, and I would like to answer some questions that people might have over here, and then try to explain the role of how Mulya Foundation can help in achieving those goals. That, and depending from the question to question, let's have some conversation around it, and also some follow-up questions that you might have. Thank you.
Right. So, friends, you can either type your question or you can speak out, but take turns. As of now, we'll take 2 questions, and then we move on to the next session. The rest of the questions can be emailed to us, and we can connect you with Ankit Bhatia. Yeah, that's okay, Ankit?
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, hi, can I talk?
Yes, Uma, please.
Yeah, hi, Harmeet.
Hello.
Hi, Ankit.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Uma. I'm a parent of a teenager who's in his 12th grade. So very enthusiastic teenager whose ideas vary every day. So, I mean, he couldn't attend this. I'm attending on behalf of my son Akshat. And the main question that I have here is, see, I understood what your program is about in the background that you're talking. So from a typical parent point of view, for a child to pursue a career like this, is there any specific courses that you recommend for them to take in their undergrad? What is the path of academics that needs to be going on for this?
So should we take another question, or should I just respond?
Please answer. Yeah, sorry.
All right, you go ahead. I just had a second part to the question. The bigger challenge that we have with respect to my child is lot of career options. That see, he is looking more at law, journalism, is good at writing, and the public policy thing also. Everywhere, his citizenship seems to be coming into question here because he holds an American passport. He was born there, but we have been settled in India forever in life now. So these are the questions that I have. Like, is a citizenship going to be a challenge for any of these things, even if he takes this up as a career? And what are the courses that he can think if this is something that he would really like to do?
So just to put it out, it's not a very conventional career to be a public policy professional. Being an economist, studying economics, even studying political science or studying any other humanities or arts program is still considered to be a conventional career. What I'm trying to say is that from people from various disciplinary backgrounds, for example, today my colleagues they are from law backgrounds. I have colleagues from engineering backgrounds as well as from management backgrounds. So, in terms of being a professional in this field, generally what you require is an undergrad, and you can have the undergrad in actually any of the field that you like. You can major in any of the field that you like, and on top of that, you build your skills where you have developed your opinions and you have understood what is the way in which you can contribute for the betterment of society, and that is where you require some kind of skill training, and that is actually what Mulya Foundation is trying to do. Because in my journey, what I realized that this is a very interesting field and opportunities are coming in, but what is happening, people don't know about them. So we have started with this program, and it is called Public Policy Awareness Drive, where we are going to different colleges and speaking to young people over there, trying to tell them, because they are already enrolled in some program, we are telling them what next. As they are thinking about their career, we tell them this could be another avenue where public policy you can think as a full-time profession. And then we help them with gaining some kind of skill sets. For example, they already have a major, they have technical knowledge, and they will learn as they practice it. But we equip with them various soft skills that is required in this field. For example, the foremost skill that you require in this field is how to write professionally, because writing is very critical. Whether you are expressing your opinion, whether you are writing a critique, or you are coming up with a new idea altogether to solve a particular problem. So writing is very essential. Second component, you will have to be a public orator. You need to know how to express your opinions out. So we are also telling them how to do that. Then you also need to understand how to do your public communication, how to build a very interesting digital profile, because these are all the elements of today's time that young people need to know. Then how do you go about drafting your resume and cover letter, which is going to be industry specific? If not, then if you have all those skills, then we also tell them about, how do you go about cracking this industry? Because this industry is so closed door that even if you have the potential, you need to know the right people. You need to know where the current openings are, where the projects are, and that is how you get into this sector. And this is what Mulya Foundation is trying to do. In terms of the having a American passport, I don't think that should be a bigger issue. In terms of programs, Ashoka University, which is a university based in Sonipat near Delhi, they have come up with multiple programs which teach people all these skill sets, whether you want to be a public, you want to develop public leadership, you want to develop expertise in liberal arts. Then new all these universities are coming up. Then there is another Rishi Hood Valley University. So the new private universities are coming up which are giving these kind of programs. Then there is an institute called Indian School of Public Policy. Now they also come up with 1-year certification program in public policy. Then IIT Bombay have come up with a public policy cell. They are giving degrees. Then IIMs, various IIMs also have this. The crux that we need to see is whether those programs are open for undergrad degrees also, or whether they are looking for postgrads. Now that could be one barrier that needs to be figured out from case to case basis. But Ashoka University, definitely I know they offer a lot of programs at undergrad level. And Ashoka University, I can say, because a lot of faculty from Center for Policy Research, where I have worked extensively, also teaches there. So the kind of faculty they have, the kind of exposure that you get is very interesting. So that could be one specific avenue, and I can come back with more examples. Maybe we can talk more about the specifics of how it can be done.
Right,
Sure.
right. So Uma, this
Thank
helps
you.
at a broader level, right?
Yes, it helps at a broader level, of course. But I think both me, Akshit, both of us have to do more R&D in this.
Yes,
But definitely, there's some base to it.
yes,
Thank
yes.
you, Ankit.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you. I'll just see. A participant is asking about some thoughts about policy evaluation aspect. Is it covered? How does it happen?
Policy evaluation is very interesting, and if you have seen this year's Nobel Prize in Economics went to Dr. Abhijit Banerjee.
Right.
And his entire research was on randomized controlled trials. In a simple term, they were trying to evaluate how policies work. Because no one, like like we do a diagnostic for any other problem, we do diagnostics of policy also. It is as simple as that. We never know when we are designing a policy whether it will work or not. We can try all the knowledge that we have, all the intellect that we have, all the consultations we can do to reach to a level of certainty that it will work. But there is no guarantee. So that is why what we do policy monitoring. And in monitoring, what happens, you would have heard these terms, the government has launched a scheme on a pilot basis. Whenever there's a pilot basis, that is the meaning that it is being tested. And in social sciences, it is different from the physical sciences that you cannot have a laboratory where you're testing it. You will have to test it in the real environment. And all these pilot projects are actually some way of policy monitoring and policy evaluation. We try to always evaluate, whether it is generating the kind of responses we are looking forward to, or we need to tweak it. So that is the idea. Then a lot of, as I was telling about the entrepreneurship in public policy. So it is opening up a new field. So you can be an entrepreneur if you have a decent understanding of economics and statistics, and you may want to get into this space of policy monitoring and evaluation. I know 4 or 5 different agencies which are working in this domain, and there are an ample number of opportunities because this idea is getting picked on, especially with the Nobel going this year and other things which are changing. So this could be a very interesting avenue and much required avenue because we need to test our policies.
Right. As Ankit, you mentioned, it starts from an internship at a very basic level, looking at government sector, non-government sector, entrepreneurship, freelancing, researcher, educator. I think there are many, many opportunities. These
Yes.
buckets are itself so huge that if someone wants to build a career in public policy, can pick up any of these and start building a career path there, right?
A small intervention. At one point, I forgot to mention that we can also think about getting involved with media houses. Now,
Right.
media is the fourth pillar of democracy, and they are always, they're always cautioning either the government or the opposition of what they have done. So media also has their own brain centers when it comes to public policy, and they require people who can tell them what are the right questions, what is the right research that you need to do. So media houses could be another avenue. Personally, there are a couple of friends of mine who went to IIT, then went to work with media houses, and now gone with top universities, including MITs and Harvards. So that
Wonderful.
could be another avenue in which you can think about working with media houses.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ankit. This
Yeah.
was at a broader level, we could understand the domain. Yes, there are a lot of deeper knowledge, deeper insights that are required, and all those participants, when you feel that you want to understand more, please connect with Ankit. We can help you in doing that, or Ankit, you can connect with Ankit on LinkedIn, either directly Ankit Bhatia or Mulia Foundation,
Yes.
and you can reach out to him. Yeah. All right.